everybody. What is happening here? Okay, so my name is Divian. I was on the last episode with Kopi with Chris, of course. Chris Henson as well on the show. For some reason, the dynamics are all twisted today. I'm going to be leading the interview. So, first of all, good luck, Chris.
What the hell are you doing in my chair,
I
dude?
don't know. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you. First, the fellas promised me makan.
Oh.
And I got here. I asked the other Chris where the makan was. It's not here. So I'm feeling a bit cheated.
Yeah, you feel cheated. Now that I'm sitting on the chair where my Kopi kaki sit down, and I'm the bloody Kopi kaki today, and there's no bloody food on the table.
Exactly. What's going on, guys?
You taking over my show or what?
A little bit. I got a couple of questions to run you through. But first, I think we got a special mention for Kopi kakis, right?
So it's still my show, huh?
Little bit.
A little bit, huh?
Little bit.
I think I'm getting fired here, It just feels like I'm getting fired. We'd like to say thank you again to Kaki for your wonderful, lovely coffee. And everyone should really head down to Kaki. I know for a fact that this weekend I will pay you, Kaki, a visit.
Awesome.
Yeah, will be. And I made some arrangements with a couple of friends to head down to Kaki. And they are located at AMK Hub, 53 Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3, Basement 1, Units 51, B and C. This joker now is trying to take over my damn show. Don't give me any sandwiches.
Trying. As if I don't have enough shows going on. But okay, you know what, Chris? First time I think I heard of you. I heard of you through FD. FD
How'd
used
that
to
happen?
regale some stories of all these things back in the day. When I first joined MediaCorp, the Flying Dutchman was one of the first people. He was so warm. He
Yeah.
used to approach me. He used to tell me a little bit about the industry. And that's when I first heard your name.
Really?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
when I first heard your name.
Well, I'm a guy who's never been on radio, man.
And you've also, been in the industry. You've also been doing voiceovers and such, right? So I'd hear, options for voiceovers, because I'd be thrown in the mix. Your voice would be thrown in the mix.
I always lose jobs to you.
No, that's not true. When I first heard Chris Henson's voice, the first audio engineer I ever worked with, he explained to me, Chris Henson, Hamish Brown, these are people who are put in the voice of God category.
That's the first I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Really?
There's the sales category. People like Justin Ang, Daniel Ong, they'll come out like, hey, you gotta come down to the sale and get the blah, blah, blah. And then
Okay.
there's the voice of God category.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I
these
feel like
voices are
Morgan
used-
Freeman all of a sudden.
Little bit, right? It's for movie trailers, the end tags of big commercials and such. So, when did you first realize that your voice was an asset?
Phew. Wow, you want me to go to that story?
Let's start off with that, right? Because that's the most
Actually, it's
striking quality about
that
you.
one is accidental. I gotta say that was accidental. Well, like you, I remember the episode that I interviewed you. That one. You said that you started since you were very young, from kindergarten, right?
Yeah, I was, always on stage hosting.
I
this
thought
and
you
that.
did a one-upsmanship on me, man. I started at 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not really started. I think it was a kind of an awareness.
Okay.
So when I was in primary 1, I don't believe a 50-year-old was talking about being 7. When I was primary 1,
Yeah.
I remember I had to get on stage to sing something,
Okay.
and I was booed. And kids can, I say this all the time.
Kids can be.
Can be damn mean.
Yeah. Cruel. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, then, that's where fight or flight syndrome came, right?
Yeah.
You either fight it,
It's true.
or you just cower and forget about the whole damn
Yeah.
thing and don't do it again.
I
Don't
think
do it anymore.
that's actually a quality that's quite inherent in a lot of performers, entertainers.
Yeah.
People work in the front line. Okay.
We have to.
Yeah.
I think you're an entertainer as well, just like me, and we have to. We can't cower, man. If things
No.
go wrong, we got to make it right.
Doesn't mean we're not afraid.
Yeah, but
right?
at 7 years old, you wouldn't know shit like this, right?
Exactly.
So then, I was out of tune.
Okay.
I was flat, pitchy all over the place.
Yeah.
And I still am. I still am. I'm not kidding, man.
Maybe we'll
I'm
put
not-
that to
a
the
lot of
test
people-
later on.
No, but a lot of people don't believe me, because FD and I we used to teach classes for
Yeah.
many years, and I say this to all of my students, and many people don't believe it, but it's true. I am quite tone deaf.
So this is on the singing side.
on the singing side.
Yeah.
So I got really cheesed because of that booing off the stage. So I remember I had to pick. I wanted so badly to get it right.
Do you remember this song? What was the song? The first thing
I don't. To be fair, I don't. Oh wait, yes, actually I do.
There you go.
We used to have a record player at home.
Yeah.
And my uncles, they were quite a big influence because all of I'm an old soul too.
That's what uncles are born for.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
They put the records on. Yeah.
Yeah, they put the records on, right? So I told myself I need to pick someone that I can emulate, and I picked Elvis.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had a whole collection. Great, I still have it.
Okay.
I put on the records and I started, but I was just 7,
Yeah.
you know, and voices are not broken yet and all that. But I kept on emulating, and I remember the first song that I kept practicing was Heartbreak Hotel.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a classic.
Yeah. I love it. I love that song. So I started with that, and then at the same time, when I listened to Radio 1, which is now currently your Gold 90.5.
Yeah.
Back then when it was RTS,
Yes.
the Radio Television Corporation in Singapore, I think. Yes, RTS. And then before it became SBC, Singapore
Yes,
Broadcasting
SBC.
Corporation.
Yeah.
I used to listen to all the great voices of all the old radio DJs then. People like, I'm going to pay tribute, man. The late, great Bernard Salosa. The late, great Victor Koo. The late, great Roger Koo. Roger Koo. Blind DJ. He's a blind DJ.
Yeah. Legend.
Yeah, and even then, when before Forces 55, there was only one English radio station back then.
Wow.
And it was a Radio 1, 90.5, and Leslie Pillay was known as a corporal.
That guy's a living legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Les, how you doing, man? Yeah. So Leslie was called a corporal. He was on Forces 55, which was the SAF channel.
Okay.
Now we have Power 98, right? There's a whole station for
Dedicated
MINDEF.
for that. Yeah.
For MINDEF. But back then it was just a show. So I used to listen to these guys, and on Rediffusion as well, because my folks used to have this box. It's cable radio.
Okay. There you go.
Cable radio. You only have a volume channel, then you've got a selector switch to switch between the Chinese channel to the English channel.
Interesting. And that's where the voices really set.
Yeah, and on Rediffusion, I used to hear the voices of the Flying Dutchman,
Of course.
who was known then as Mark Van Kallenberg, before the moniker was given to him.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was Eric Lim. Oh, you'll talk about
Smooth.
the voice of God,
Smooth voices.
Mr. Eric Lim.
Yeah. So this is you. You're a kid. You're
Yeah.
taking in all this
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
How did you then start to model and use your voice towards that
Okay.
direction? Were you just a kid with giant balls or what? I mean, when did that happen?
I'm
Right?
gonna kill you for that shit.
When did
I'm
you
gonna
start
really kill you for that
to
shit.
start talking like Chris Henson? When did that
Larger
happen?
balls. When that happened, okay, it's a good freaking question though, but it wasn't about the size of your,
Some say.
No, believe me, makes no difference. Actually, I remember. I mean, God, that was so long ago. I remember in my mother's house, as a kid, I used to listen to these guys and these great guys and play songs from Elvis, and I started singing along, and I
Interesting.
broke my voice. I think between the ages of 9 and 10.
With a hammer? Or what?
Kind of early. No, I think it was more or less me forcing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I picked and chose the people I wanted to emulate in terms of voicing, not the singing part. Is
Yeah.
Elvis.
Yeah.
And I had some people I wanted to emulate, and every time they say something, I repeat it. They say something on air, I repeat it, and I enjoyed it so much. It was
Wow.
such a thing to do on a Saturday morning, and FD was one.
Yeah.
And this is where I pay tribute to my great friend, my good buddy, my brother from another mother, the Flying Dutchman. Glenn, you're not the only one. I called him up
Okay.
when he was doing his show on Rediffusion.
Wow.
And I actually called him when the song was being played. I was 14.
That's amazing.
I called him up. And
How old was, wait, you were 14. So at FD at that time, let me
You
count
really
back,
want me to do this?
Probably about 65 lah. About there lah.
Tomorrow when you go in on shift, you better don't bump into him, man.
Fella's 250 years old. Okay, so you had this, so you have this progression where, you know, it first started with a passion for music.
Yeah.
You got attracted to that kind of bassy, low, smooth. Elvis is that, right?
Yeah.
Right? You move on, you start emulating all these voices on radio. When, at which point did you decide that you wanted to use it?
There and then.
Interesting.
I've always wanted it.
Yeah.
Always. As a matter of fact, as far back as I can remember, even before I broke my voice, I've always wanted it.
Interesting.
It was just something I knew that I had to have.
Can I? Okay, I'm gonna give you a bit of trivia.
Yeah.
So they did a couple of studies on the aspects of what makes a man most attractive, right? So let me just ask you, if you just had to rank these three factors: height, voice, and looks. How would you put them in order in terms of what is most important?
How would you do it? You see,
I'm on this chair now. So I have the
It's still my
prerogative to ask.
show, damn it. Okay, no, wait. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'll reverse it back to you.
Okay. I know
Okay.
the results of the study. So you
I
cannot
know-
ask me.
That's a study. I'm going to ask you what you think about this.
I'm
There's three
totally
options
influenced
you-
by the results of the study.
Come on, fuck off. You have your own opinion, right? Now, no, listen. I'm going to give you my opinion. You're asking me for mine.
Sure.
Here's the reason why
Yeah.
I'm throwing it back at you.
Okay.
Because I'm 50 and you're 33. There is a generational difference.
For sure.
Right?
Yes.
Now, because at the last time we spoke, right, we talked about a couple of things, and you gave me your opinion, and it did differ from mine.
Yes.
So this is going to be interesting.
Okay, let's do it.
In my opinion, which will differ to a lot of people your age and younger,
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it's voice first, looks second. Like you said, personality first, then voice.
That's different. That's
I
not
would-
even in these three options I gave
shut
you.
up! How can it be different, man? No, how can that be different?
Talking about physical attributes.
Yeah, physical attributes.
Physical attributes. So first impressions.
Yep.
When
yeah,
a female
yeah.
makes, right? Okay.
Yeah. So my
you put
opinion
voice
is
first,
voice first.
looks, and then height lah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you know, I think whispering sweet nothings
Yeah.
does more to a woman than just being eye candy.
Now
and not
you
just
know
that, it's
Chris's
also
strategy.
intelligence. It's also intelligence.
That's true. But
Yeah.
they're not so much a
This guy is quite
physical-
brilliant, you know. Okay, yeah.
So very interesting. The results, you know, for those studies that were conducted showed that it was looks, particularly the eyes.
Yeah.
The eyes first, then voice, then everything else.
Okay, let me tell you about eyes. It's funny you
Okay.
should say this too,
Yeah.
because I've also noticed this. As we age, we really change.
Yes.
Even the way we look, we change. I look different than I was your age. Believe me, I look a lot different.
I believe you.
Facially, well, of course you fucking believe me. I was a lot more dashing. You know what I mean? In terms
Oh,
of.
you're still dashing now? What are you
Nah,
talking about?
bollocks,
But you
man.
look beastly dashing
Oh, no,
now.
beastly dashing. Look at my damn face. Look as if been ran over by a damn truck. But kena langgar lorry. This muka kena langgar lorry, bro. Can you see the tired?
No
red
lah.
marks on my-
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Anyway, so people will change. Your body will change.
Yeah.
Your face will change. It's just inevitable.
Yes,
right?
it's true.
My nose is bigger.
Yeah, noses in years, I think.
Fuck yeah.
They never stop
My
growing.
freaking ears are looking like FDs. Oh, perish the thought.
Okay, FD's ears, I don't know.
FD's ears are
Makes Dumbo run for money. for
FA
his money.
Cup trophy handles, brother. Those are not freaking ears. Those are the FA Cup trophy handles, man. He's gonna be watching the show. I'm having so much fun. Okay, so yeah, and but his ears have always been like that. So
They make
nothing-
for good listening.
age didn't do it. It was just him. Yeah, but it's true. Our
Yeah.
ears get bigger. Our noses get larger.
So you're saying, okay, the face change.
Yeah, face change. And your eyes, okay, hey, dude, my eyes seem non-existent when I put on a big smile these days. But when I
Right.
was younger, no freaking way. They were huge.
Okay. Now you see the world in a straight line.
And yeah, now I look like freaking letterbox slits, you know? You're like, hey, do I have mail? Do I have mail?
It's really interesting that you point that out because, this study talked about physical appearance and attraction. But
It
when
doesn't
they
last, man.
Yeah, it doesn't last. But when they talked about authority and the physical attributes that related to authority,
Yeah.
voice was number one.
Of course.
Because, in all the stories, all the movies that you see, you never see a king, right, with a high voice.
Okay, I'm going to say this. If anyone would want to have success in life, whether it's via negotiation or via selling products, or even scoring during an interview,
Yeah.
it's got a lot to do with your voice.
It's an advantage. I mean, not to say other people,
Brother.
cannot.
Brother.
I mean, I'm an equal opportunity kind of guy.
That's where
Everybody can succeed in their own way.
I mean,
But
people can look through your BS. That's for sure.
that's true. That's true. And
You
but
got
a
to be
good
bright.
voice-
You got to have your qualities. You
Yes.
got to add the value that you're supposed to add.
Yeah.
But the added advantage, you're right.
A good voice
Yep.
is a huge advantage.
It is.
How did you capitalize on that? As you went along. So you knew you wanted to do this. How did you grow into really harnessing it?
When you say harnessing it, what do you mean? Can you define that for me?
Did you use it as an advantage in, the jobs that you had, the career that you had, in
Yes, of
romance,
course,
for
of
example?
course. Goes without saying, man. I mean, I've done stupid shit like I'm gonna tell you what.
What's that? What's happening?
I'm gonna tell you something
Oh.
I've done a couple of times to some people.
Okay.
I have friends of mine. Who, some of them might be watching the show, but I might be jogging their memories. I call them up.
Yeah.
And I pretend to be a radio DJ of the day.
I see.
And I tell them, I'm not going to mention names because this is so-and-so calling from this particular station, okay? Just to let you know that your name was handed over to us for you to, for a sort of a lucky draw that happened on our show.
Okay.
And we'd like you to come down to Caldecott Hill.
No lah. So you pranked the fellas. They went down.
I pranked them, man. Yo, shucks.
What a bastard.
You see, just all you need to do is just bring your NRIC along, mention the name of the show,
Yeah.
and head down to the reception at Caldecott,
no.
and just say that you're here to pick up your prize.
Galat, bro.
Dude, at least three persons
Yeah.
actually listen to me.
It's convincing.
I know.
It's convincing.
I know.
For sure.
Then I realized something.
Yeah.
I can sell.
And
So-
that's how it progressed.
Yes. So I used all this to my advantage.
Okay.
You see, because when you're able to do something like this, there's
Yeah.
flow. You're right. You know quite naturally. You learn quite naturally how to segue into things.
Okay.
Right. You learn the art of the interview. You learn the art of presenting. You learn all that.
Yeah.
And then you use it towards what? You can sell stuff. You can negotiate. You can.
That's true.
Yeah. And you can whisper sweet nothings into a girl's ear as well.
I take your word for
Yeah,
it.
like FD taught me this.
Yeah.
And I teach others as well. And you have your morning voice for your morning show, and you got your night voice, man. Right now, you don't touch that dial now, girl.
It's all about
Yeah,
positioning.
I'm gonna
yeah.
keep company with you. All you have to do is just turn up the volume just a little bit, and
Chris,
I'm gonna be with you all the way to midnight.
Feel a bit tingly. Anyway, okay. So all of my questions so far are leading up to this point. A bit of a
Yeah.
naughty question. Okay?
Sure.
A naughty question.
Ask.
So, would you say your voice is your greatest strength?
My heart.
Your heart. Heart is your greatest strength.
My heart, yeah, is my greatest strength.
Okay. Would you put your voice up there though, with one of your greatest strengths?
No.
Really? Oh,
It
that's
would still be my heart. If you asked me this question when I was 33 years old, I would say yes. I would agree with you. Is my voice.
okay.
Now at this stage of my life, I'd say it's my heart.
Interesting. That which leads me to my next question because they often say that your greatest strength is almost always your greatest weakness as well. So in what way, right, in life has your heart been your weakness?
Oh, many ways, man. There's so much truth in that. What you've just said. I always say that I go to bed without guilt. I go to bed with a clear, clean conscience. I do my best not to harm anyone, not to hurt anyone. I do my best as much as I can for people who work with me, for the people I love. I do my best a lot for others.
Awesome.
How does it hurt me? Of course, when you do something like that, you are vulnerable,
Yeah.
right? You
yeah.
open yourself towards being shot. But one thing I've always taken comfort in is that I go to bed with a clear conscience. If anyone at all goes to bed, if he's got any conscience at all, would be the other party who tries to hurt me back.
Interesting.
But it doesn't matter, because I always say that when I say heart, it doesn't mean just being emotional or
Yeah.
being empathetic
Yeah.
or sympathetic or compassionate. It is also about having a lot of faith. And with faith there comes hope.
yeah.
And I always tell myself, and I say this to people that I care about, that don't worry about it. We walk in faith, and we walk steadily every step of the way. We fall, it hurts. We go 3 steps back, and we take half a step forward. Even then, walk in faith.
Can I ask you
And,
something?
yeah.
Okay, about the word hope. I once heard somebody tell me this, and he explained it to me first. He put the pretext, so I'll share the pretext with you. It's not said in a way that is discouraging or evil or bad.
Yeah.
The phrase that he told me was, hope is for the hopeless. And the reason he said that is, if there is anything to be done, you can do it. It's only when there's nothing left that you can actually do to fix a situation that you hope. So he says hope is for the hopeless. What do you feel about that?
I'm a simple guy. I always believe that when one loses hope, there's nothing left. There is no point in moving forward. What's the point of living when you cannot feel alive? And no matter how much little hope there is, you cling on to it, you hang on to it. But then again, it's very much like people believing in luck. But I believe that luck can only happen when opportunity meets hard work.
Interesting.
And with that, hope comes.
Yeah.
So hope doesn't happen if you not going to do something about getting that hope to begin with.
Wow, look at this. Chris Henson, everybody. You're really painting this picture of, something that's very interesting, because it's not the first impression that you give people.
I know.
It's not the first impression that you give me. When I meet you, and I, as a younger guy, I see you, you're a tough guy, big guy. You've got this air of like, don't fuck with me, man. I'll break your fucking neck, right?
Yeah, don't fuck with me. I'll break your fucking neck. It's true.
Which is still true. And that's a lot of the exterior. But what I've come to learn in a very short amount of time is that there's a lot inside. There's a lot inside. And you used the word earlier. You said vulnerability,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of guys in the world today struggle with that. I struggle with that. I'm a young guy. I'm trying to find my footing in this world. I struggle with that. How have you learned to cope with being vulnerable in a world that judges you if you are weak, especially for a guy?
I don't even think about coping. What's there to cope? I don't even think about building any defense mechanisms for this. Why? Because the moment you do, what happens? There's only one way, and that is to step back and not give. And what happens when you do that? You'll notice that your entire character, personality even, will just go south. I don't believe in that. I know for a fact. Someone said this to me a long time ago. Because I was accused of a lot of things, anonymous stuff that, been written in about me and stuff and all, which is all completely untrue.
Okay.
And this person said to me, you got a very big back. You're a massive target. I said, yeah, I know. You should worry about that. And I said, no, I won't. Because as I always say, if I've done nothing wrong, my conscience is clear. You can shoot arrows as much as you want at me. At the end of the day, karma's an absolute bitch. You know, and she will make a U-turn and come right back at you, right? So I don't wish for that for people who've done shit to me. I don't wish that. All I can say is that I just go on living and being who I've always been. I don't want to set up any kind of coping mechanism for this. No, man. Well, you know, this is a secular show. But if you really want me to tell you, I will squeeze this in. I will just say that I trust in God. I trust in my God. Yeah. I like I said earlier, I walk in faith. Every step of the way, I do my darnest to walk in faith. And that and I've always believed in this passage in the Bible that if God is for me, who can be against me?
You believe that?
I do very much, very much. Like I said, I'm a simple guy. I might just take some things quite literally and believe in it. I do, you know, yeah. But that's me. This is what makes me, and that's how I've been running businesses. Yeah. I've been living my life as best as I can, and keeping everything that ought to be kept valued and precious close to my heart.
That's amazing.
That's why I'm saying it's not voice, man. It's this first. Because they're all linked, yeah?
It's true.
It's all linked, yeah? Yeah, so yeah. And if I'm vocal, sure. If I can be vicious with my mouth because if it's wrong, I will fucking say it's wrong. I'm not going to hold back.
Yeah.
If it's right, I will say it's right.
Yeah. But that though seems to be a trait that runs in the family, right? So I guess you know where we're going now.
Oh, uncharted waters.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to a bit of territory here that I think our good friend Chris will.
I'm gonna kick his ass later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk.
Oh,
let's get
boy.
this out of the bag. Let's talk about the very infamous Bertha Henson.
Can we not?
She's
Leave
your
her out of
sister,
this.
Okay? And she's now an adjunct lecturer.
No, she's associate professor.
Associate professor.
Yes.
She, voices out on political commentary. She's always been a huge influence. She was also on the middle ground for a while. And how was growing up like with
which is okay,
with
like
Bertha
any
Henson?
siblings, man. I mean, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Like any siblings would. I mean, it would be no different from any other family, in my mind. We're very close as siblings. I'm
Okay.
very close to my sister. I owe a lot to my sister, as a matter of fact. In my life, I do. I owe her a lot, especially since my father passed away.
Wow.
I owe a lot to her. And the way we function as a family is that we have honor and respect for those who are the elders in the family. And that's how I will treat my sister.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be any more deeper questions regarding Bertha, I am not going to say any much.
No, there are no more deeper questions
Okay.
regarding Bertha, except for why hasn't she been on the show?
That's really my sister's prerogative, whether she wants to come on. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, man, I personally would feel awkward to have her, for me to do a show with her,
Okay.
for me to ask her stuff. Because no matter what happens, there's always this sense of, she's my big sister.
Yes.
I will not put her in a spot.
There's an unwavering sense
Yeah,
of
so
respect.
it won't be a good show. Let me just make it quite clear. To the Joker, I'm going to kick his ass after he says cut.
Who's the other
That
Chris,
is
by the way, the
not
producer? Yeah.
It's not going to be
See you later, Chris.
a good show. It's not going to be a good show, okay? And frankly, if I have spent very much so. I mean, advice, is mutual. My sister would run to my defense. I would do the same for her.
What is the single biggest lesson that you've learned from Bertha?
Being responsible. Wow, you really made me think. Fucking hell. Being responsible for family. If there's anything I must say about my sister, it's because she's got this high ground that and which is great, that she keeps being responsible for people, for family. She still is to this day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
It's tough, in this day and age to find icons that are inflexible when it comes to morality.
you see, people like to draw, aspersions, make judgments based on what they see, what they read, and what they think they know, and most of them are wrong. Very much like what you probably would have, what you said, your impression of me the first time we met. Yes and no. There's always
Bit of both.
two sides to everyone, right? So there's the personal side of people. Now you're asking me the questions that's very personal. This is Chris Henson. Chris Henson. And same thing for Bertha. I mean, she's like any one of us. As a kid brother, I'm saying that we are just like anyone else. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to try and zoom out a little bit from the gravity of this situation.
Thank God.
Let's give Chris a bit of a breather here. Tell me about, some of the things that you explored with the Flying Dutchman, the business opportunities, some of the things that you went, and you guys did things in Bintan and such. Why did you put your time and effort into those ventures?
I will only speak for myself.
Yes.
I will not speak for FD. I did that because I felt that I was at an age already and at a time where I had the means to explore further the commercial realm, the true business commercial realm of things, but and I would say that there was this misconception of being commercially mature.
Okay.
Misconception. I admit to that. And it was just wrong decisions, that were made to venture into an arena that, speaking for myself again, that I wasn't familiar with. Familiar with maybe part of the arena, but not in its entirety, and thinking that I was ready for it. But I did my best.
Yes.
That's one thing, and I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Which is invaluable, right?
Well, let me just put it this way. I think it's safe for me to say that those of us who were deeply involved, myself included, all suffered PTSD, man, because of that. Yeah, it was traumatic. It's equivalent to suffering from PTSD, man, because lots were lost. There were lots that we've gone through.
Yeah.
Too many things. It was a nightmare. It was a hell of an experience, though.
Yeah.
Life became quite colorful. As if my life not colorful enough. But it was painful, man. It was painful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think about, the way the entrepreneurial spirit in Singapore is fostered? Do you think that there is now enough here? Do you think that the bed for entrepreneurs to come up and do business is mature enough?
I think in many ways we're not mature. If you have young people which is kind of rare, in my opinion, who decide that they want to start their own enterprises. Let's say, for instance, they go and open an F&B thing. What would they do? What kind of F&B do you think they'll start?
Bubble tea.
See? Anything that's in air conditioning, anything that's kind of modern, a cafe.
Yeah, cafes.
Would you think they're going to go and apply to rent a stall in a hawker center? No, they won't. Is that being a business person? No, this is I was guilty of that, man. I was guilty of that, man. We had a beautiful place, picture postcard, man. It was huge, great band we had, and great food stuff. But in hindsight, we would have done better if we just opened up, got a stall or two, and fried, chai tao kueh and sell or something,
Yeah.
But to answer your question, in my mind, are we mature as a society to even go into, start something up that's really going to be making waves? There will be a small segment of people who can, but I don't think many people are ready. Many people will be like me. They think they are, but actually they're not.
Okay.
And the sacrifices that you got to make as an entrepreneur, the deep pockets that you must have,
Yeah.
right? The funding that you better make sure that you can get, right? I mean, it's not going to be easy, mate. And we thought that going beyond our shores would be helpful. Not true. As a matter of fact, I would just like to say where the infrastructure is concerned, Singapore is still the best place to start a business and to do a business. It is. It is the best place because we don't have to worry about labor demonstrations. We don't have to worry about, believe me, mate, labor demonstrations.
Crazy dimensions that
fuck,
Singaporeans are not prepared for, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been through I think three of those because we ventured overseas, right? Yeah. We don't have to worry about high corporate taxes. We don't have to worry about, incorporating a business is done easily in Singapore. We don't have to worry about people coming to your doorstep and trying to get protection money or, or money to keep the peace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about all that. I mean, it's still the best place to do business. The only thing I'd like to say is that it all depends on what kind of business you're doing.
What kind of business?
Yeah. If you're going to go into retail, I mean, geez. I'm going to say this. Landlords are greedy.
Yeah. Do you think that, part of the reason you feel, even though Singapore has made access to business so prime, so easy, so good, that it's the culture of the people that make it immature?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to go that far, man. I mean, just look at us as a society, as a community of people. We spoke about this.
Yeah.
Right? I actually used it yesterday because you said it and it kind of resonated. We're the ultra minorities, right? Yeah. Ultra minority.
There we are.
Yeah, mixed, man. We are ultra, man. Ultra.
Yeah, ultra minority.
Freaking ultra men. Yeah. There's so much that we don't discuss in community. So much we dare not discuss. And it does not make us mature enough, nor grow, evolve along with as a developed nation, as a people.
Where do you think
it should be
Yeah.
It should be in tandem.
But this inability for us to be open, whether it be about, business practices or, even some people in families don't even discuss their own pay. This inability to be open, to be honest, to be vulnerable, well, where do you think that comes from? Is it just, an Asian thing? What is it?
Well, it could be an Asian thing. It could be I suppose.
And I'm asking you because you grew up in this country, right? And yourself.
Okay, let's look at it this way.
So outspoken.
To me, the Chinese will hold everything close to their chests.
Okay.
The Malays are more open, right? The Indians, I wouldn't know actually, but my point is that there are. It's got to be culture. It's got to be that, and at home. So I know some families, for instance, husband says, my money is my money, my wife's money is her money, In my home, my money is my wife's money, her money is her money. Yeah.
Do you guys have a joint account?
Of course.
So you share everything?
I mean, look, man.
Yeah.
If anything happens to either one of us,
yeah,
the money's got to be. You got to think about how your estate's going to be distributed, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have a joint account with my wife.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's kind of common.
Yeah, but it's strange. People have all these different ideas about
No, the
what
question
they
you
should share,
the question
right?
you asked me was about business.
Yes.
And most families, I mean, unless they're a family business, they don't talk about what's happening at work.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing because you don't want to bring business home. You don't bring work home. But not sharing it doesn't help you either. You're going to have problems for sure. And what's going to happen? You'll be repressed. You'll be repressing everything. You're not going to go back home and talk to someone about shit. And then you're going to get repressed. You're going to repress and you're going to get depressed.
Yeah.
So, but then again, that's still not it. I mean, if we can't, as a community, discuss race, discuss about, the LGBTQ community, okay?
Yeah.
Openly and be open and welcoming to everyone. How the fuck are we going to grow? I mean, you're going to have this lovely looking island with lovely skyscrapers and landscapes and stuff, right? Peace and security and cleanliness and all that. Efficiency, blah, blah, blah. We used to be more efficient, though. And then now, community doesn't grow in tandem, doesn't mature as the nation develops. How are we possibly...
Why do you think that is so? Do you think it's because Singapore's makeup is so complex? We're not a homogeneous culture. Or do you think it's because of the rate at which we grew?
No, mate. Like I said, I'm a simple guy. It's about education. It starts from the schools.
Okay.
I'm sure there's racial harmony day and all that. That's all cool. I'm glad where my son is concerned. I tell you, it's so funny.
Yeah.
10, 11-year-olds today, and he's got classmates. I really like these guys. These guys are real fun. And like tomorrow, like today, some of them will be in my home. They're doing a staycation in my home. So we got a boy who's Indian and he's Cindy.
Okay.
And then I asked him, so, what race are you?
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know. Then I asked another guy who was Chinese, this kid, what race do you think he is? I don't know. Which is great because kids are colorblind. Yeah, I like it.
That's
I
true.
kind of like that.
Because it doesn't matter yet, right?
Just maybe right now things are being done right. Maybe. But back then, man, I mean, my time, we didn't see the color. We didn't, in school. Then I noticed as time went by, there is a particular portion of time, segment of time that you see one race together, another race together, and then another race together. Now it's different. Now with my kids' generation, it seems to be going back to where we were.
Interesting.
You know why?
Why?
Again, my opinion now. That batch of people who 讲华语 all the time. You go into an elevator, a lift, and they 讲华语. They sit down in the coffee shop over lunch, and they all 讲华语. You got a Malay guy sitting amongst the rest of them, but everybody 讲华语.
Yeah.
No one is sensitive towards the Malay guy who goes, what the fuck are you guys talking about? He doesn't want to say a word because does it matter whether he knows or doesn't know anyway?
Okay.
I think it's just downright rude.
Okay.
When I hold meetings and I've got other races inside and people start talking in Mandarin, and I say, can you guys stop, please?
Interesting.
Okay? But these guys who do that, they come from a generation that are raised by the baby boomers.
Where there was a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they somehow ended up like this.
So struggle breeds empathy.
Yeah.
Success breeds apathy.
Those are the millennials.
Okay.
The Gen Zs, or they call themselves Gen Zs. I don't know what happened to our
The
freaking English
TikTokers.
language, man. I mean, it's like school is now teaching all kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah,
It's Z, it's not Z. I mean, this is...
American, British.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, freaking don't get confused because Windows is in US, Come on. Yeah. And so the Gen Zs
Yes.
are raised by the X-Geners. My son's a Gen Z.
Okay.
I am an X-Gener. So the X-Geners have seen how screwed up that lost generation is.
Okay.
And we refuse to have
Right.
our offsprings be like that. So there's a lot of close similarity between the guys who are Gen Z
Yeah.
and the Gen X, the Gen Xers, or X-Geners. What am I saying? X-Geners. Yep. Because we want them to understand that you got to strive, you got to thrive. To thrive, you have to strive, and be colorblind. Because back in my day, man,
Yeah.
we were playing with all kinds of races anyway, right? And we all speak English. There were pockets of people, of course, all speak Mandarin, but when we all come together, everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from something as tiny as that, it's about education, from the home, from school,
Yeah.
and if we're able to combine, collaborate together, regardless of race, that I've got a Malay guy coming to see me to collaborate, to talk business,
Yeah.
or to even be hired, but he can do the job, there's ability, hire the guy.
So what you're speaking of, from when we started with business and maturity and openness,
Yes.
moving on, it's about the education of empathy
Yes.
and how we cannot stop, we cannot sacrifice.
Without empathy, there
Yeah.
can be no collaboration. Without collaboration, there can be no innovation. Nothing new can be developed. There cannot be progress because that stymies your right brain development, man. You're not going to
Yeah.
be creative about shit. And where business is concerned, you've got to be creative.
Yeah. for
Right?
sure.
Yeah. So that's where I think it goes down to the bare basics, right down to the bare bottoms of the bottom of the country.
If you had one sentence to impart
Yeah.
to your kids,
Right.
what would you tell them?
Seriously? Okay. Well, it's kind of easy because I say this all the time to my boy. Never expect respect. You have to earn it. People won't give it, but you must give.
Wow. Is this philosophy that you hold something that you got from your late father?
Oh, very much, man. Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much.
What kind of man was he? Because I know he was a famous inspector.
My goodness. Talk about research, man. My dad,
Yeah.
no one can ever fill his shoes. Not one of us. Great guy. Hell of a good reputation. Built our family name. And colorful life.
I want to get a picture of him as well. Was he also a big guy? Was he?
Oh, yeah.
What was he like?
I remember reading vividly in
Yeah.
the Straits Times back in the day when we were still a colony. My dad he comes out in the papers also often.
Oh yes.
And the reporter in that article, it's a long time ago. Yeah, this was like in the 50s. Wrote, we still have those articles. Wrote that described him. How many inches were his chest? His neck was built like a gladiator, and my dad was
Wow,
a strong,
imposing
strong guy,
figure.
but kind. Even as a cop, he rose to the rank of chief inspector. He had a colorful history. Even during the war, he got his medals for bravery, gallantry, and those were the British medals.
Wow.
Yeah. He slapped a Japanese officer when he was a POW male nurse
Wow.
because he wanted to be treated first, but he was treating the former Governor General of Singapore, Sir Robert Scott.
Wow.
I think for malaria or beriberi or something like that. And the Japanese officer wanted to be served first. He slapped the officer because my dad was a linguist. He could speak 9 languages.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My dad was a hell of a character, man. Then after the war, he went back to the police force. He had a couple of gunfights. I have his citations. I have his certs. He had a couple of gunfights. I saw his bullet wounds. He's got one bullet wound, in each leg. Rifle wounds. He's got one on his wrist.
Wow.
He was the only one allowed to carry his own personal sidearm.
That's like a movie stuff.
There was a
My
famous
brain
murder.
is trying to keep up with the amount of color.
There
Wow.
was a famous murder that in the history of Singapore that
Yeah.
happened back then, and it was the murder of this young Eurasian girl, Katong convent girl. I'm not going to
Okay.
mention names because families could still be around and all that. And I'm not going to go into the details as well
Okay.
because I don't want to hurt the feelings of any family members. Yeah. But my dad was the investigating officer in the case. And it was actually mentioned in David Marshall's in the book by the late Alex Josie, the David Marshall's trials. So that story is in there, but I've got my dad's version. I've got my dad's version. I've heard lots of stories from my father. Also about the Russian mafia back in the day, in the 50s, where they used to extort Chinatown.
Wow, I never even heard of that.
They put a hit out on my dad. Yeah. I'm not going to go into details as well, but all in all, my dad, I had an old dad. I was 18, going 19 when he passed away at 75. And the 18 years I had with my father, sitting at his feet, listening to him, his stories, his lessons. 18 years. I had a lot. My friends had dads that could play football that my dad couldn't. Yeah. He was an old man. But I relished every moment, every minute,
Yeah.
listening to him. I remember when I was in school and I get on stage, I look out into the audience. There's one person I know that's going to be there. It's my father.
Chris, you know, I was tasked today to interview you.
Bloody hell.
I took the task as a blank canvas, and I wanted to paint a picture.
I'm so easy to get, answers out of, huh?
No, actually, I think that you painted
It's cool. Don't worry about it.
a much
It's cool.
deeper and a much richer picture than I could have hoped for. And what I've seen, what you showed me today, is a lineage of integrity. It's a lineage of fight. It's a lineage of honesty. And you, sir, are a man of vulnerability and heart.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Chris.
No, thank you for saying all that. It's very nice of you.
It was a privilege.
Yeah. I mean, I give credit to my family. I give credit to my father. So obviously you can see tears running down now. I give credit to my father because he taught me, taught my sister well, that we hold our integrity and it's hold it high. We are always reminded by our mom that we should never tarnish the family name, what my father built. My sister's done a great job. I can't say much about me, but my sister's done a great job. I really can't say much about me, man. But really, Bertha has done an amazing job of that. I'm very proud of my sister. I'm very proud of my father. And sometimes I always wish, when he passed on, and I started work, when I was as a young adult moving on, it's always been about. I always ask myself, whatever I do, is my dad going to be proud? This is where I went together now with my son. I hope that I will be able to hold my grandchildren, and God willing, and to be able to see him through. And I also tell him about his grandfather, and I also always tell him about my sister and what she's achieved. Rarely about me, really, because really, I mean, there are other better examples to show. But one thing is for sure, is that I need him to understand that everything that he's got to do, he's got to earn it, and he's got to do it right, and he's got to do right by others and right by himself.
You got my eyes red, man.
Yeah, you know, I think parenting is a very important job.
Yeah,
you know, it's not a job. No, I actually, it's not a job. It is what it is. It's what you got to do.
yeah.
You know,
like you said, responsibility.
yeah. Well, it's not responsibility if you actually love your kid.
More than that.
Yeah, no, it's not responsibility. It's things that it's. Is that going to use Mandarin? 应该啊. You know what I mean?
应该做的.
You have to 应该做的. You know, you got it's. How can we say even say it's responsibility? It sounds like a pain. It sounds like a bane. It sounds like a burden, a chore. It's not. It's not, man. I mean, like families, we're conjoined. You know, and it's never a burden. Cannot be a burden. The moment we see as responsibility means AKA burden one, right? No, it should never be like that. And that's why sometimes, like coming back to your previous question, that's why sometimes it's painful to see community being standoffish with each other and it's not my problem. You know, mind your goddamn own business. You know, somebody can be lying on the damn street dying, and then you just, and then you post it on Stop, right? I mean, that's bollocks, right? Yeah. So, in my mind, it bothers someone like me. Because we can't stand by when good men stand by and watching evil happen and do nothing about. And that's something that we should never be. I think that's where we are not mature as a society, right?
We got ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. We can definitely stand on a united front for in crises, I suppose. You know, I hope, bloody hell. But it can't be just because it's a crisis that we come together, right? Things happen every day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where we haven't matured. So, you know, see, I'm volunteering a lot of information. So you see, and I told you the last time we met on the show, and I told you, Divian, you're a good man, you're an old soul. I'm an old soul. Because till this day, I ply different coffee shops, man. Yeah. In the east side. I have friends in almost all these coffee shops. Yeah. And I sit down with these guys, and they're all in their 70s, 80s, senior gentlemen, people who've been through all walks of life, been through a lot in life. Some of them have done well, some of them are just okay. Some are senior civil servants, you know, some retired businessmen who built companies and now kids are running it and all. Yeah. And I hang out with these older guys. Why? Maybe because
there's an affinity.
Yes, an affinity because my dad was a lot older. And I revere these people. I sit down and I listen. It's like maybe because I miss doing that. You know?
I understand that.
Yeah. I think there's lots to learn from people who are a lot older still.
Ladies and gents, Chris Henson, man of empathy and passion. Thank you very much.
There goes my rep, man, bro.
You really opened it up, man. I had some quick fire questions, but I think this is just the perfect place to leave this episode. It's the end of the season as well. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
I am grateful for the opportunity to have done this.
Got the right guy asking me questions. Jesus.
If you wanted to know Chris Henson, this is it.
Okay, got quick fire.
No, I think
no quick fire.
No quick fire. What do you guys think? I thought it was a great way to just kind of wrap it up. It was nice.
I got no quick fire. I got no quick fire. I got no quick fire. Oh God! Did he say cut?
Is it a cut?
He did. He did say cut.
Close the show, Kopi, on this side.
Ah.
Like, share, subscribe.
Okay, that's how you gotta cut. You gotta cut this
Okay.
part of the footage, huh?
Ken. So my final task is to close the show, and I task it to Chris.
Oh. Now I got my show back.
You do.
Thank you for watching. Oh boy, I don't believe I actually said all the things I've said today.
Yeah.
But thank you, Divian, for doing this.
Anytime, man.
And I'm gonna kick the producer's ass later. Yes. Anyway, thank you, everyone. I hope you got greater insight into Chris.
I love this picture, Chris, and then there's a tissue box and his bulging biceps. That's all.
Yeah, no more tissues after this episode. That's for sure. Again, thank you, Divian, for doing this and
Anytime,
for
man.
being. I don't. Gosh, I'm wondering maybe we should not air this episode. Again, thank you for being with us. This has been a great season so far, and we're gonna have 1 or 2 more episodes before we move on to season 2. So make sure you stay on with me on all of our future episodes in Kopi with Chris. Like, share, subscribe, comment, screw me over even if you want, but just do something, okay? And stay safe, stay sane. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.